Hey, guess what?
What?
This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
It's a website that helps you make websites. Just because Christmas is over doesn't mean you have to stop baking. Personally, I love to bake all the time, especially in wintertime. It's one of the best ways to show people that you can have a decadent treat without using animal products. This specific recipe comes to me from my friend Kate. It's new to me, but apparently this gingerbread cookie recipe is incredible. She keeps talking about it. So the other day we veganized it, and of course it turned out perfectly. So I can't wait to share it with all of you guys. Definitely try it out for your next party. It is a definite crowd pleaser. Okay, bye.
The first thing you're going to do is cream your butter and sugar. So since we're making this vegan, we are using Earth Balance. This is the best butter replacer for vegan baking. If you did not prepare ahead of time, like me, then by leaving your butter out to get at room temperature, you'll want to microwave it for a little bit just to get it nice and soft. Then you can use your stand mixer, a hand mixer, or you can just do this by hand. You're going to cream the butter and sugar all together till it's nice and combined and fluffy. Next, you want to use the equivalent of 1 chicken's egg by using this egg replacer. There are so many ways to replace chicken's eggs when you're baking, but there really are some replacers that work best for certain recipes. It really just depends on what you're making, and I found that this Ener-G Egg Replacer brand really does work best for this type of cookie. Just make sure you read the directions in the box to measure it out properly. But the key to this egg replacer is really to whisk it as thoroughly as possible and getting out all the lumps. So I spent a good 1 or 2 minutes just whisking it consistently, getting out every single lump so it's nice and frothy. This is really key for it to have the proper egg consistency. Then you're just going to add your egg mixture into your bowl, and then you're going to add the molasses. Now you can use light or dark molasses. I had dark molasses on hand, but the recipe actually calls for light, but it really doesn't matter. It just kind of changes the color of the cookie. Just stir that all together until it's nice and combined, and then we're going to add the dry ingredients, which is the flour. You can try this gluten-free, let me know how it turns out, but personally, when I'm making desserts, I want them to be as epic as possible, and I care very little about health when I'm making desserts, mostly because, I just want people to see that you can have amazing vegan treats and they don't have to taste like health food. Do you know what I mean? If you're new to baking, I will just give you this little tip that if you are adding all your dry ingredients to your mixer, it might be a good idea to kind of do it in little batches. So I added half my flour in first and then stirred it to combine, and then I added the rest of the flour as well as all the spices and the baking soda and the salt, so that it's not gonna, you turn on the mixer and then flour goes everywhere. It just keeps it nice and tidy. The really big secret about why this recipe is so delicious is all the spices. If you look at other gingerbread cookie recipes, a lot of them tend to use minimal spices, but this is 2 full teaspoons of each spice. So that's what makes it so powerful and delicious. After everything is combined, you want to remove your bowl and cover it. I used a plate here instead of plastic, and you can chill it in the fridge for 45 minutes to an hour. This just makes it easy to roll out and work with. Next, chop up some lettuce and make a salad so you feel better about all the baked goods you've been eating over the past 4 weeks. Eat that while you're waiting for the dough to chill. To work with the dough, it's very simple. It's just like making sugar cookies if you've ever done that. You're just gonna press it down and to a cutting board, just take out pieces at a time and then roll it out. I like to use extra flour. It really helps to prevent it from sticking to the roller or to the board. And then you can use your cookie cutter. I like to place it in flour just to ensure that it doesn't stick. And I'm using circles here, and the reason is this recipe really does tend to expand a lot in the oven, and last time when we made this we had shapes, and the shapes really didn't hold because of so much expansion. But you're welcome to try out the traditional gingerbread man to see if that actually works, but the circles really work nice. When you do line up your cookies on your cookie sheet, just make sure they have enough space in between them. You don't want them right next to each other because they are going to get bigger. And then you're going to cook them for about 9 minutes, but I would recommend checking them at 7 or 8 because you really don't want them to get too crispy. They're much better when they are chewy. That said, if you like crispy cookies, by all means, cook it to 9 minutes without checking them at 7 or 8. Yeah, go for that. And just make sure when they are all done and you test them and they're perfect, remove them immediately and have them cool on a drying rack, and this is done to prevent them from burning on the hot pan. Next, you're going to make your frosting, and you're just going to combine all the frosting ingredients, the powdered sugar, the room temperature vegan butter, the vanilla, and water, and just combine them all together in a mixer, and then just put enough orange zest for you to be satisfied. You can not have the orange zest if you're not into it, but I love it with the ginger flavor. It's so good. I tend to add a lot of orange zest. You can even see it in the frosting, little bits of orange flakes. Also be sure before you frost that your cookies are cool, totally cool, not hot at all, because otherwise the frosting will just melt all over the cookies and it will be super messy. Next, we're going to frost our cookies, and you can either just spread them on with like a nice thin layer of frosting. It's quite sweet. The cookies are also super sweet, so don't feel like you have to put a ton of frosting on. But I'm going to get a little creative here and put the frosting into a Ziploc bag and push all the frosting into one corner, then snip off a tiny little piece to create my own frosting bag. And the reason I'm doing this is because I know how cannibalistic we can all get over the holidays. We're stressed, we're tired, we're promised gingerbread cookies and expecting little men whose heads we can bite off. So that's why I'm putting little faces on these circles so we can express any emotions that might overtake us by taking it out on a cookie rather than our living loved ones. And I'm actually taking a step further by drawing out the spectrum of emotions I may feel in any given moment in the month of December. I, unlike Ronald Weasley, do not have the emotional range of a teaspoon, as you probably have noticed, so just feel free to express your own kind of therapy on these cookies in whichever way you please. The people you give them to probably won't notice that they are eating your own personal catharsis, and they will thank you for giving them the best gingerbread cookie on the planet. Special acknowledgement to Kate Son's family for this incredible recipe. Thank you to my sponsor Squarespace. They made this video possible. Listen, I'm a creative person and you are a creative person too. If you want to start your next big project, you need an amazing, beautiful website. And I personally believe Squarespace is the best choice because it's all in one. There's no upgrades or patches necessary, and anytime you have a question, they're right there for you. I use Squarespace for my podcast website, my podcast I have with Evan Oliver, and we love it. It's so seamless and easy to use. If you want a free trial and 10% off your next purchase, go to squarespace.com/Hannah McNeely. Okay.